Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games from the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives of varying skill range. I am the Battle Arena master of this episode, Andrew. With me, our support that never knows how to heal, Keith.
Hello.
Wow. Holy smokes.
And with us, the one who loves to climb the ranks, our third host. I'm not calling you guest this time, Aaron.
Thank you for officially making me a host. I would like t-shirts. So if you could put that in the mail, I'd appreciate that.
Sure. Do you want the one with the spelling error on it?
No, I don't actually want a t-shirt. I literally have like 500 t-shirts. So please don't send me a t-shirt. I just really want to give you a hard time.
Okay. But this week, Aaron picked it. Aaron picked this week because, he's been on here for a while, so it's about time he did it. We played Gigantic Rampage Edition by, what was her name? It was actually...
A studio.
Oh gosh, I had it on the wrong page. Abstracted.
Excellent start.
There it is. Abstracted.
Honestly, I don't think I would have gotten that because that wasn't the original studio, right?
Another studio. I think this is their only game they've done.
Well,
but anyway.
We'll talk a little bit about the history of it, but isn't this a different studio, though, that's running it right now?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, okay. That I remember.
All right, but anyway, Gigantic is a 5v5 MOBA, or for newer people here, multiplayer online battle arena, where you are playing one of 24, I believe was the roster, of different unique characters, from a frontline fighter, from a DPSer, or a character that gives support. But you are on one of two teams where you are trying to defend your gigantic beast. You have a griffin and on one side and a dragon on the other side, and you are trying to go around and capture points to be able to power up your gigantic monster to crush the other gigantic monster, and you go in, swoop in, and try to defeat the enemy team. But yeah, we have a long history of this game. Gigantic originally, some of you old school people like us might remember that this game first existed a while ago as a 5v5 free-to-play game. All three of us, I remember we played it and we loved it and we had a lot of fun with it. Then one day they went, yeah, we're gone. And it got shut down kind of abruptly. You kind of know the history of that, Aaron. I don't know if you want to tell the story.
I mean, I would have to check what while you're there, Andrew, can you actually check to see when this game originally launched? Because if this sounds a lot like a hero shooter, it is a hero shooter. I don't want to immediately, like we did last week, get into semantics on what a MOBA is. I don't know if this fully qualifies as a MOBA, but I think that's
multiplayer online battle arena. You're in an arena and you're fighting.
Okay. All right. So Halo is a MOBA by that definition. So
it's a first-person shooter. It is a first-person shooter arena. Yeah.
Okay.
Shooter.
That's not what I would define as a MOBA. That's not what I think of as a MOBA. But anyway, yeah, I know. I think Andrew's wrong on this one. But
on this one.
Semantics. So this, depending on when this game came out, for everybody right now, I know Marvel Rivals is like a renaissance on hero shooters right now. But back in the time when Gigantic launched, hero shooters were everywhere. So I think it was 2016 was Overwatch, which was the biggest game in the world at the time. So you're already 4 years deep into Overwatch, and then you come onto the scene as a free-to-play. If I remember correctly, this game came out around the same time. Do you remember Battleborn?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
So I didn't play it, but I remember it.
This game actually stylized looks very similar to Battleborn.
That was Gearbox. Battleborn was Gearbox.
Yep. So that was a 2K game. And I believe that one wasn't free to play. I think Gigantic was free to play, but I think Battleborn actually cost money to play.
Correct. It went free to play eventually.
Yes.
Once Overwatch was beating it.
So this was such a weird time because back in that time, it wasn't obvious that free to play was the way to go. Now, it's like every other game feels like a free to play game. But back then, it wasn't quite like that. Like, clearly people wanted to make money off the front end of it. And even Overwatch originally was a, $40 game. I think is what we talked about last week. So if I remember correctly, Battleborn and Gigantic came out around the same time, and they just you couldn't beat Overwatch. That used to be the old saying, was just like, oh, this new hero shooter showed up, but, Overwatch. Nowadays, it's just funny because it's like, oh, Marvel Rivals, and Overwatch is not really getting talked about at all. So this game just died. It was great. I don't remember it lasting very long, maybe a year, if even that. And then, what was this, back in May? all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this new studio has now picked up the remains of Gigantic, was going to release it as a paid game, not free to play, and they would just launch it with all of the content in there. So there's no battle pass in there, even though it's now on Game Pass, and it's just basically relaunched. Both Andrew and I purchased the game when it came out in May. Played a bit of it back then. It was cross-play, so at least it was nice to know that there'd be people playing on either PlayStation, PC, or Xbox. But yeah, so now it's back. It looks like it's gotten a little bit more content since the last time I played. I noticed at least one level that was new to me, but no new characters. A couple launched with it, but that was it.
Yeah. 2 new characters when this game got relaunched.
Which I don't think I've really liked either of them.
I didn't touch think about it. But anyway. But yeah, that's a kind of a quick history. But let's get into it. The Gamer Pass. So as Aaron said, me and Aaron bought this back in May because I really loved this game when it was free to play. I thought it was a lot of fun. It had a lot of potential. Bought this, back in May. And actually, no, it's April. April when it got launched, April 9th. But anyway, close enough. I liked what this game was doing. It's like, cool, everything's free, everything's ready. There's a store, but you earn in-game currency, so you can buy skins. So there's no microtransactions. It was like, I'm liking the sound of this. But yes, it was cross-play, and I just associated it with kind of weak servers. But back in the day, I had a hard time kind of getting into matches. So I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to wait a little bit, let the dust settle. Hopefully they can fix things up and it'll be a lot better. So now it hit Game Pass, and I'm like, great. There's going to be a lot of people. I bet it's all fixed up and looks great. And no, it is not. So because of that, I am very heartbroken to say, but I actually would give this game a pass. I think this game's a lot of fun, but I have very low hope for it now. The fact that it got relaunched here in April, it has been months. And as Aaron said, I haven't seen any new heroes, maybe a couple new maps. And even looking at their website of what's been happening, some skins, and that's it. Their servers are still kind of a wreck. And it's like, if this stuff still isn't fixed, I can't see this lasting. Like, it's great that it's on Game Pass now. People are going to be coming to it. Because I always assumed eventually this game is going to go free to play. But it's like, if you can't even still fix this, I don't think this is something that's worth your time to peel you away from Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, Apex, whatever free to play game you're playing right now. I can't see this win you over, which breaks my heart.
Yeah, I like this. Gigantic is a game when you can play it.
Yes.
But in its current state, and I mean, it sounds like going all the way back to April from when they relaunched it, just the existing state of it just is barely playable. And that's just the real sad truth to it. And like Andrew said, it has a special place in my heart because, like Aaron mentioned, we used to put a lot of hours into this game when it was free to play. And it was like just such a nice break from Overwatch. Like, it still gave me the same genre, the same gameplay style that I wanted to have, but it just, it wasn't never going to overtake it, but it was enough to fill that void and just kind of patch things out every now and then. And now it's just like, just alone, like going into Marvel Rivals after trying to play this game for more than one match and having it immediately have match found the second I hit ready is just like, it's such a good feeling. So I want to call the gameplay a game, but I want people to play it because I don't know, maybe magically if enough people play it or something, like they'll fix the servers, but it is largely a pass in its current state. But I just real quick to we didn't get a chance for me to chime in on this. This is a MOBA, I would say, at least. It's much closer than, say, Halo. I'm not going on just the acronym, Andrew. I'm going on the fact that it's a predefined battlefield, each controlling a single character with distinctive abilities to become more powerful as the match progresses. Doesn't have that, and it doesn't have the minions or the creeps, as we would probably call them. And I think it does.
You summon them at the points.
Sure, but I'm not. I don't know. Do they spawn and go towards the other side of the map though? Because that's really the biggest thing I think for a MOBA. But at the same token, where this does really strike that MOBA chord is having the two defined like corners of the map where you have your final structure that has to be defeated, and that's more or less how you win. And to me, I think that's what truly defines the MOBA genre. at least in the same, at the very least, like a MOBA light, if you want to call it that, versus a like. That's kind of the thing we do with all these other genres, right? So I think it's got enough of it that I would. But no, Andrew, just because Halo is a multiplayer online battle arena, it is not a MOBA.
We're old gamers here. And if you remember back when, I don't think this was it was a StarCraft thing.
Warcraft.
Warcraft. Defense of the Ancients or Dota.
I was gonna say I'm cutting you off because I have the Wikipedia.
Yeah, because I remember
Strife was the first one. That was 2002, and that was
it exists.
You're right.
It existed on StarCraft and it existed on Warcraft as well. Those custom games, we used to spend hours on those. And I remember Defense of the Ancients, Dota,
which spawned
a game on there,
actual game.
Yeah, and it was like Zerglings that would go out, and you would have the lanes, and you would try to destroy the towers and destroy their base. That is where, from my understanding, the MOBA genre originated from. So to me, the defining features were the steady line of creeps, and then destroying the towers to eventually get to the other side. So that's where I would say this feels MOBA-ish. I just wouldn't quite call it a MOBA, but that's just me. So, right? Dota does stand for Defense of the Ancients, right? I didn't make that up.
No, and you're also right that, yeah, at least according to the Wikipedia, the first widely accepted game in the genre was Aeon of Strife or AOS.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so my take on the game. I do think it's a game. But how many games you're able to play on it is a huge problem. If you did join in on the live stream the other day, I was streaming this game. If you haven't, make sure you check us out on YouTube. I'll be streaming probably the games we're going to be reviewing a little more often, so please check us out there. But if you did tune in, you would have noticed that I probably found like 15 matches. I got into 2 of them. I don't know, Andrew, you kind of bring it up. I don't know if that is a server issue or if there's something else going on. Back when this game launched, I didn't have as much of a problem getting into games. I felt like I got in, like there'd be a handful that you wouldn't get into, but I don't remember being like this. This is like, I mean, obviously I'm more often than not going to get into a game. And when you are in the game, you're clearly playing with a lot of people that are getting this on Game Pass. They're all really low levels. Most of them kind of seem lost because I'm sure that since then, there isn't much of a progression system. So if you're playing this game, you kind of have to like it because there's no other real progression system. There is a rank system, but that's kind of...
You level character, but yeah, you don't get too much rewards.
It doesn't do a whole lot there. But when you do get into a game, it is a fun game. It is still fun. And I got into a few matches here this time around, and I was like, by golly, this game's fun. And, recently, because there's a lot of new people in there, I was like, you know what, there's some characters I want to play that I want to just be good at. I want to kind of figure them out. And I still wasn't able to figure them out. But I'm like, man, this game is still fun. Like, you can see its age. You can kind of tell that this game was probably just not fully complete. It probably had a whole lot more that they had planned for it before it died. But man, it's still fun and it's still got some charm. I kind of appreciate that. There really is nothing else like it. It's the other reason why I like it. This 2 giant gods, and then you're kind of summoning those creatures. All of that stuff is like, there really isn't anything quite like this right now. And so for that, I give it a game if you can get into one. If you can get into one, it is a fun time.
All right,
and I think that's a good point because there is something unique about Gigantic, and you kind of nailed it with that, Aaron. It's like, even whether it's League of Legends, Dota 2, Smite,
Heroes of New Earth.
I don't remember that. I remember the name, but I don't remember playing it. But they all have essentially the same feel, right? Like you have 3 lanes. You follow those lanes. There's a little bit of dynamic of what changes between it, but it's really the same. And you just push towers and go. Whereas Gigantic, and there's 2 different modes, and I can't remember fully Clash from back
Rush
in the day.
And Clash.
Yeah, and I didn't get up to level 10 this time around because I couldn't get enough games in, but I don't fully remember it from the last one. But that attacking the god, like not mini game, but like little short sequence you have, and the ways that you build up to it by building your team score up to 100 and all of these different things. It's a unique spin on this genre in particular in how it approaches it, but still gets to that same end goal of destroying the other team's final tower. And I just, it's what makes me want to play it and wish I was able to.
Yeah, for the reference, there are 2 game modes, Rush and Clash. From my understanding, so Rush you can only play when you're under level 10. It's the only mode you can play. I don't really know why. Outside of in Rush, you will automatically start as the highest level. So you're not progressing. You are automatically starting as the 10, which is the highest level in the match. And you don't summon minions or beasts or whatever they're called. Are creatures, that's what they're called. You don't summon any creatures in Rush, but you do in Clash. So my guess is that what they're just trying to get you to feel is the push and pull of the game, and
The
not
rushed version of the game, you would say?
maybe. But the Clash version adds all those other elements. You actually have to pick how you want to upgrade. You can obviously set that to a pre-built or a preset, which of course I just did a quick Google search on the most OP builds for each character and preset that in there. But so if you're playing Rush, you're truly not missing all that much from the Clash. The Clash can be a little bit more fun, but the Rush honestly kind of nails everything.
Yeah. But first, I'll give a quick pro tip because we keep talking about if you're able to get into a game. Did a little bit of an experiment because I saw some people online. Since this is on Game Pass, this game naturally has crossplay enabled. Turn crossplay off. It seems counterproductive, but I was like, this can't be right. But I saw people stating that, hey, I've been getting in more matches more frequently when I turn crossplay off. If you're playing on Xbox, or honestly, if you're even playing on PC, sorry, PlayStation people, you're probably going to get the shaft here. But, you know, it's on Game Pass. Well, actually, I didn't confirm. Is it on Game Pass PC?
Yes.
But either way. Okay. But either way, turn off crossplay. And I've noticed it was more frequently getting me into matches. Because the thing that always happens is, 30-second countdown, hit accept that you're going to play the game. And almost every time it says someone didn't accept, put you back in requeue. But as soon as I turned crossplay off, it only would happen, kick me off like twice, and then I could get into a game. So check that out.
Now, I complained about this on stream. I already had an issue with this. To me, this feels like a dated, again, this is an older game. Like this came out back in 2020. But you found a match, hit accept is so stupid. If I hit the button, when you go to search for a game, you have to hold down Y. So it's not like you could casually just, oops, I accidentally just searched for a match. No, like you hold down Y, it goes into the search. Clearly, I would like to play the game. So if you find a match for me, just put me in the match. That's literally how every other game works right now. But for some reason, this one, it says, no, we found a match for you. Would you like to accept this match? Yeah, that's why I held down the Y button. Of course I would like to play this match. Get rid of that.
I think that's very a MOBA thing. Literally, League of Legends does it. I'm pretty sure Dota does it. Smite does it. It's a MOBA thing where you have to accept the match.
I don't understand that. The only way I kind of understand it, the only way is if you have long wait times, I can kind of understand maybe people getting used to walking away. And this is their way of making sure that you're actually there if they're going to go and start the match. But even then, it's finding matches pretty quickly. It's really, I'm not waiting a long time to find matches. It's just somebody's not hitting the OK button. That's the issue. Heck, for all I know, people might just assume that when it's finding them a match, it's putting them in the match. So they're just on their phone and they hear it, that it found them a match, and it's assuming it's going to go put them in it. That's why I can't tell. Is this a server issue? Is this a crossplay issue? Or is this just people legit not hitting the OK button in the 30 seconds it tells them? Because if that's honestly the thing that's holding us up right now, it's crazy. It's crazy that I could go that many matches found and somebody in every single one of those is not hitting OK. That seems crazy to me.
No, it's very clearly a server issue of some sort. And I don't know what it is. And maybe it's like related to the crossplay, but it's something on their servers that's doing it. Because what I found, like Andrew and I played a couple matches last night, and it seemed like we were having a little more success with just a pair. Like it would actually search for like 45 seconds instead of maybe 10 or 15.
Yeah.
And so it was like
turn the crossplay off.
Okay, and that was probably a factor then. But yeah, we were playing a match. All of a sudden we went to go join another, and all of a sudden it just said, "No, you can't be a party anymore." I couldn't invite Andrew. Andrew couldn't invite me. No matter what we did, we closed out the game. The only thing we
You
did
guys
was
dominated the servers. They had to ban you.
Pretty much. But yeah, we were the only thing I didn't do was hard reboot my Xbox. And
did you blow into the cartridge?
You know what?
Yeah,
honestly, let's do that, Aaron. Studies showed that's actually damaging the game.
Shut up! Everybody did it in the game's work.
Okay, sure. And you're not supposed to put Q-tips in your ears. Now let me go clean them out.
There's not a single person that blew into a cartridge and it broke their game. Wikipedia that. Let me know, because that has never happened. It's scientifically fixed your games.
Yeah. No, I don't buy that at all. But it's got to be something on the server somewhere. And it's kind of a real stretch theory, but to your accept and double accept, I wonder if it builds somewhere going back to the roots of MOBAs of Dota and AOS. On StarCraft, you had to ready up in the lobby, and you didn't have to ready up again, but you had to join your match, get into the lobby, ready up, and then go. And it's almost as if they when they took Dota 2, they were like, all right, well, let's just start with whatever code we have for this game and then just put a whole new build around it. I'm probably way off, but it's kind of what it feels like they did.
Well, it's clearly, it's clearly taking influence from things. And again, it's a sign of the times to me. I think when the game came out, this was probably a little bit more of a common practice, where nowadays, again, you can hit search match, it's just loading it in the match, because obviously you clicked it. That's what you would like to do. Because I'm even trying to think with Smite 2, if you have to accept when it finds a match, or if they got rid of it in that as well. I've been playing some of that, but I just can't remember off the top of my head.
I almost want to say you do, but I can't.
If that's what you do. I know in the original you did. Yeah, I know in Smite 1 you did. I just can't remember if in Smite 2 it carried over that feature. But get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's 2025. Get rid of it. If I click search, give me the match.
Hey, Javier in our Discord saying that there's 11 people streaming the game right now. So it's definitely got some following.
Well, no. That's not streaming. That's on Steam. So the Steam charts is saying that only 11 people are currently playing it, which
18
again
in 24 hours.
I actually think that's totally fine. That's on Steam. So if this is on Game Pass for Xbox and for PC, that will not show up in the Steam numbers. So anybody that does download this game, there are people playing it. I was able to get into matches. You guys were able to get into matches. Again, as long as people hit okay, you can get into it. There are people playing the game. So yeah, if you do want to check it out, I again give this a game because I do think this is a fun game.
Yeah.
I do. One of my issues, though, maybe this is a hot take. Maybe this isn't a hot take. I think the world is kind of reversed on this thing a little bit. I'm okay that there isn't a battle pass. Generally, games that I like that are free to play, I kind of like battle passes just as a form of progression. They're usually like $10. And if I know I'm going to play and complete that battle pass, I'm okay with that. But you know what I really miss? This is the hot take. I miss loot boxes. I miss loot boxes.
Yeah.
Loot boxes, I get that the world hated those things, and that's why we eventually got to battle passes along with some laws. But even with a game like this, I think it would be fun to play it. I know it's giving me free coins to just go buy whatever the heck I want, which is probably better for people. And it was a $30 game, but by golly, I want to gamble a little bit. Make me gamble a little bit for some of this stuff. I missed that in Overwatch. I kind of missed collecting 15 loot boxes, and you're just playing. So you're having a fun time playing. And then you get 15 of these things, and you're like, all right, I'm just going to open 15 of these in a row. I kind of miss those days. And playing a game like this, where it's it kind of needs something, obviously you're leveling things, you're leveling your fortune cards and stuff like that, but they don't do anything. Yeah. But I'm just kind of oh man, it made me think of loot boxes. It made me long for the days of gambling in my video games.
I mean, you've progressively become more of a gambler in real life here. You use slot machines.
I mean, I'm not a good gambler. I'm not.
I mean, can you be
no,
good
but
at
I think
slots?
people. No, you can't. Well, my wife will tell you otherwise, but no, you can't be good at slot machines. But I just, I remember the world just going against like Overwatch and Call of Duty all had loot boxes. And there was just
It
this
makes
big.
sense. It is gambling when you're dealing with a lot of younger audience. It is gambling.
But the thing is, here's why it's not gambling. You could get those for free. You could buy them, but they were there for free. Like I don't think I ever paid for a loot box. My issue was, and I understand, in the world of Call of Duty, they were putting guns behind it. So if you wanted that gun, the easiest way of doing that is spending a lot of money to raise your chances. But in Overwatch, you were just getting skins. So I don't know, if I was playing Gigantic, give me some skins, give me something to collect and then open. It would just feel like you're progressing, you're doing something.
Yeah, because you even had, because there was also like Apex caught flack, and kind of the same thing. It was all cosmetic, but people wanted those heirloom skins, wanted them so bad, and so they'd just pay and pay and pay and pay until they'd unlock them. And so again, I understand the whole gambling aspect of it, but just don't allow them to be paid for. I think that's my biggest thing. Is like bring them back, but don't allow people to purchase them, and then it's not gambling, and you can have fun with it. I think there's a lot of ways that it could be managed, but I'm in a full agreement with you on there. I don't need a battle pass. I want loot boxes back.
See, that's why I played Apex for the longest time, because it had both. It had battle pass and it had loot boxes that were free. But yeah, Javier made a point that Apex is a $300 pack. Yeah, Apex Legends, their packs, if you buy the full thing to get skins, are crazy expensive.
They've pretty much lost most of their audience, haven't they?
Oh, as of recent, yeah, they've been bleeding. They've been bleeding hard.
Because aren't there like some weird, like, you now can't earn the currency to unlock heroes now?
No. They split their battle pass into two. So each season there's two battle passes, and you can no longer you can buy. So every battle pass, you always earn the premium currency with it. So I literally spent $10, and I have been milking that since the beginning, since season 1. But now they made it so it's like, oh, you can buy a crappier version of the battle pass, but there's a more exclusive version battle pass that costs only money. And they split it twice. So it's basically $20 every season for these two battle passes. It's gotten very predatory.
That's what Call of Duty was doing. They have a battle pass, and then they have the Black Cell battle pass, which is like $30, and it has even better and cooler skins. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's just stuff you see pop up in more games. And I'm not advocating for that. I kind of like.
You need to stop buying it. It's pissing me off.
Yeah, I don't like
developers get away with this.
I don't mind. Again, even like if Call of Duty came out and I really loved that Call of Duty, I was going to spend a lot of time on it. I'll buy the battle pass just because, again, it's something to progress through. And generally, I'm like, all right, did I feel like I got $10 worth of content out of it? Probably. Fine. I'm fine. Obviously, I paid for the Marvel Rivals battle pass. I have no problem doing that. I'm playing the game a ton. I'm flying through the battle pass. I'm getting cool skins along the way. So I have zero issues with that. If Marvel Rivals comes out tomorrow and says we've got 2 battle passes, all right, now I'm probably out. I'm just not interested in spending more than $10 on a season. But to me, if I like the game, it's worth the $10. I don't have an issue with that. But bring back loot boxes, free-to-play game, please. Yes, I want a free-to-play game for sure.
And I think, well, that's part of it too, right? Is they call it, there's calling it gambling, but then it's also, you hear the terms like predatory used on it. I'm like, I think these battle passes are becoming every bit as predatory, because especially just, you alluded to it. It's sad to say, but we are old gamers. We don't love the skins as much. But the newer generations of gamers, skins are just a very important part of these games in your gameplay experience now. And so you have to get these skins. And so they force it by battle passes or just aggressively overpriced, to just outright buy them. And so either way, you're going to entice, the younger generations or just anybody who's enticed by these things to overpay for it. And you're taking advantage of the fact that they need to have it and their compulsion to have it, and making them so expensive. So instead of going, hey, you have to spend, $100 in boxes to, on average, gamble out, quote unquote, what you need, now you just pay us $100 and you just get it. You're still getting $100 out of somebody for the same purpose. It's just less fun. Bring back loot boxes.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have had a loot box or even a skin addiction at this point. Like, I've never seen a skin where I was like, well, I need that, so I'm going to go pay for it. I've never had that experience.
I think I've come close maybe a handful of times, and it was probably still even like Overwatch years ago where I was like, that is a really cool skin. But Overwatch had a great system that, at least at the time, where you could earn all the currencies you needed. But that's not the full point. But yeah, I can't think of one other than maybe Overwatch or Nicki Minaj on Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. Well, we all wanted that one.
Over 30 minutes in, we've stopped talking about Gigantic.
I mean, in a way, it is about Gigantic. Gigantic never launched with a battle pass. It never even got there. It was like basically an early access until it died. So I don't even think it got to that point. But just when you're playing this is the greater point. The greater point is when you pick up a game like this and you compare it to other either free to play or just any other type of hero shooter right now, there are usually a lot of different progression systems happening. I think that is one of its pitfalls right now. So if you were to download this on Game Pass and you do get into some matches consistently, say you turn off crossplay, it's great. But when you get to the end of the match, what is it all working towards? Nothing. And having the game within a game, I think, is part of the fun. I've never played the rank mode on this game. This never felt like it would be a good ranked game. It doesn't give me those vibes. Maybe that's just vibes, but it's always felt kind of casual. It never felt competitive.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get into this.
We are into this. There is no story.
Okay, but let me do my bit. Yeah, there is no sign. This is, and I wanted to bring this point up because this is actually one thing I kind of enjoyed. Because a lot of times when we're playing, we talked about this with Marvel Rivals, and anytime you do a free-to-play game, people always kind of want a story. And so I feel like developers create a game, and then people are like, well, what's going on here? And then they're like, all right, crap, we got to scramble and come up with lore. Gigantic, there's nothing. Even too, when I'm looking at the hero roster, it doesn't really even give much of them. Like, usually in a game like this, they'll at least be like, he come from this land, and he was the chief of blah, 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 and now he's here to save his people. There's just no lore, which I thought was kind of surprising because even too, you're getting these fortune cards and that are kind of progressed for these characters, but I really wasn't learning anything about anybody. So it's kind of refreshing of just, hey, this is just meant to be a fun game. Just play it. So don't be in this game for story.
There is elements of it though, like depending on what side you're on, you're a house. It's like House of Devedra and Aurelian. House of Aurelian. Yeah. So it named these sides, and obviously the gods are two different types of gods. There's the griffin and there's the dragon. So there felt like there were some elements. My guess, and this is really honestly just a guess, is there probably was some lore elements there, or at least plans to do that. I just think everything died before it got to that point. Yeah. So now they kind of, relaunched the game, but it's really relaunching the game with just a few things added, but that was it. But it feels like there probably should have been some story elements that I wouldn't care about. But even some of the characters, they're kind of interesting characters. You feel like there'd probably be some stuff attached to them, but yeah, no lore. It didn't pull a Concord and overlore the game.
That's true. But I like that idea. Bring your own lore. That's a good one, Javier.
I mean, were they really just backwards on the times? Like you mentioned it earlier, like they were one of the first free to play in the genre, and then they died. Well, everyone else was paying to play games because they were just getting better made games. And then they come back out and they're like, hey, you remember how you liked playing this game for free? And there's a ton of other free games to play that are really fun. How about $20? And it pulled like you guys. Honestly, I was close. I couldn't bring myself to it for that reason. I was like, why would I go pay for a game that I previously played for free when there's at the very least close games in the genre and actually better games in it at the same time for free, right? Like it just seemed so backwards to come out and relaunch as paid.
Oh, it was 100% getting me on nostalgia. It was at the time when you were playing this did feel like something new. It didn't feel like the other hero shooters that existed right now. So when it relaunched, you're just like, oh, remember this? And the game is just taken away from you. That's another problem with the fact that these games are live services. There's obviously no physical copy of them. And one day they just go away. They're just gone. And these guys were probably smart and said, hey, there was enough of a dedicated community that we could probably make a few $1 million off of just repackaging this thing and selling it for $30. And now, obviously, making a deal with Microsoft to put it on Game Pass. So they probably did something smart, but you were 100% right. Is this more polished than Overwatch 2 with all of Overwatch 2's flaws right now? No, it's obviously not. Is it more polished and more fun than Marvel Rivals right now? No, of course it isn't. But this was a nostalgia play, and it worked. And it's still fun, but it's not. It lacks a lot because it's not a complete game. It isn't.
Keith, well, let me ask you, but if we're going, so me and Aaron bought this game kind of for nostalgia because I like this game a lot too. Another MOBA that me and you used to play, and yes, I would call it a MOBA. Do you remember Hyper Universe?
That's the name of it.
If that came back, would
already
you spend
looking
$20 on that?
$20? No. $10 maybe.
We loved that game.
We did.
That game died because it didn't have players.
This
game didn't die because of lack of players. It died because.
Hold on, I gotta Google this game. Wow, no. I don't remember this.
You might have played some matches with us, but you never got into it. It was just a random free to play that Andrew and I had found, and we got really, really into.
Yeah.
And it's funny, yeah, because I was going, I just for whatever reason was scrolling back through old Xbox messages, and I found my old buddy that there was this one guy that we just kept getting in matches with, and every time he would send me angry messages, I would send him angry messages, and
but you guys were friends.
It was this weird love-hate. Like it was to a point where like if I didn't get a message from him after, I felt like I was more hurt than when I got an angry message from him.
I vaguely remember this game.
Gosh, yeah.
It's not even that old.
And in that same token though, what I like about it or liked about it and would probably again is it has some uniqueness to it. It's not your standard role, mid, solo, carry, jungle. It just had a different vibe to it, and it was a lot of fun to play.
Things.
It did, but it was right, but it wasn't quite the same. Like it was the same idea, but it felt so different because of the 2D. Like I don't know. At least I felt like it did.
I do want to drill into something there real quick though. Can you tell me the difference in your brain between $10 and $20? So when you say, I'd buy it for 10, but not for 20. Where does that gap exist? How did that happen?
You're asking me a really good question.
Like in your brain, you're like, this game is definitely $10, but $20? No, thank you. What is it about the game that does not get it?
I mean,
so $20 worth.
Realistically, I think at this stage of my gaming career, I'm going to call it that. I just don't buy games in general. And so at $10, it's like I want to play this, but I'm not going to put a lot of time into it. Like I'll get my $1 per hour probably either way. I'm buying it because I want to have it, not because I'm going to play a lot of it, I think. And so at $20, I'm not like, and I know it like from an actual impact to my wallet, the difference isn't really all that major. It's really just there's something about that. Like once you hit 20 and up, I'm like, this is a game that I'm going to commit to putting some time into if I'm going to play it.
That's an interesting take. And you're not wrong, because that's literally how I think of things. When I'm buying a $60 game, I'm typically thinking, how many hours am I actually going to put into this? Like, if I can get this to like 20 cents an hour, that's amazing. That was way worth it. And that's kind of how I think of it, which is a weird way of thinking about it. However, clearly in this situation, your nostalgia pull to Hyper Universe is not as strong as mine was to Gigantic. Because when I heard it was relaunching for $30, I didn't even blink an eye on that. I was like, oh, I love that game. I will absolutely pay the $30 to play that game.
Well, and you did it with Smite 2 as well, right? And that didn't go away.
Smite 2 as well. I think and
new shiny toy.
And this week I bought Wayfinder for $20 because it just came out on Xbox. It's been on PC and PlayStation for a few years now because I liked that game. And I will 100% though put the hours in on that one. That one is going to be a no problem.
It's also so funny and ironic coming from you. If people here have listened to your podcast, your movie podcast, you have always been the person that hates nostalgia. I hate nostalgia plays. It's cheap and it's just not worth it. And here you are. You're like, ooh, $30. Okay.
It is. Yeah, it is kind of counter to how I normally am. I don't know why it is, but in movies, I feel like nostalgia is pandering. Yeah. Like it just feels like you're pandering to do it. Where in games, you're trying to recapture a feeling, which I'm sure some people feel like that in movies. I'm sure a bunch of people went and saw Indiana Jones, whatever the latest one was called.
And they
just
Destiny.
Yeah, they really wanted to recapture that feeling. And I'm sure that was it for them. Me, I look at them like, that's obvious pandering. And then I'm like, oh, Gigantic's coming out? Wow. Yeah, I will admit that is a little bit opposite of how I should be handling it. I get it. But I will say, I do think I've gotten enough hours out of this to justify my $30.
How many of them were actually playing and how many of them were just sitting there trying to get into a game though?
That is a great question. When the game came out though, I just don't remember sitting in lobbies as much as I did the other day. On stream, I legit probably hit that play button. I mean, gotta be 15 to 20 times, and I got into 2 matches. It was kind of getting to the point where I was like, all right, I should probably just play something else. So that does kind of suck.
All right, let's talk about more of the gameplay. So Aaron, you touched base on it a little bit. So there's 2 gods, Griffin and a dragon. And if you're playing Rush or Clash, they're very similar to the same game modes. Just Clash is just a bit longer. You're picking one of 25 heroes, each with different unique skills and abilities. And as you're playing the match, if you're playing Clash, I should say, you are leveling up your character within that match. And you have a skill tree. So you can kind of build your character a little bit out. You can even, before a match starts, create a pre-skill list. So as you're leveling up, you don't have to stop what you're doing and let me read the skills and pick what I'm going to do and blah, blah, blah. You can do that all in the lobby and create a set list and name it. And as you're playing, so a lot of characters, even healers, can be maybe a little bit more of debuffs or do a little bit more damage, or you want to be more of a tanky frontline fighter or a weak health, but stronger attacks like assassin. But as you're playing, you are trying to capture certain points that are generating energy. And if you ever get to 10 points, so each kill of the enemy gives you a point. Every time you capture an energy orb, it's worth 2 points. If you get to 10, your god will attack the enemy god, making it vulnerable. And you as a team have to attack that base and try to eliminate the god. And that's how you win the match. But one thing I really like about this game is the pace of it. Because if you've played a MOBA before, League of Legends, Dota, whatever, some of those games can go for an hour plus. This game is designed to be fast. Even with the Clash game mode, I never felt like I got a match over 30 minutes long. That's one thing that I think hooked me with Gigantic. It's a fast-paced action kind of game of you just going in, doing fights, and getting out. Because as usually the game progresses, you get a damage multiplier to the enemy god. So even if you've, got the, pinned the enemy god the first 2 times, that third time, now the damage multiplier is up to like 60%. If the enemy team is able to pin your god down, you could lose because there's a massive multiplier damage. And I really like that. I think that's one thing I loved about Gigantic is its pacing.
Yeah, and on top of that, just as I know we're talking about Gigantic, not other games, but the worst thing about other MOBAs in that regards too is you'll have a game that goes on for an hour and 45 minutes, and by 15 minutes you knew who was going to win that game, and you knew it wasn't going to be you, but you sat there for an hour and 40 minutes just close enough to never die or feel like you were competitive at some point, and then just it all falls apart. There's nothing more. I don't even say demoralizing. It's just, it feels like a waste of time. And I really appreciate that lack of feeling in Gigantic and just feeling like the matches are because there's also games that I think we were playing one where we were like, I don't know how we won that, but I think it was the damage multiplier. We caught the right break on it, and that's great.
Yeah, I think the other day on stream, I had a match where we got immediately smacked at the beginning. They came pretty quickly, took us out, and then we're damaging our god. And I was like, oh, we're screwed. And we won. We ended up getting the next 2, and we actually ended up winning on that. So it kind of swung really quickly. I do. This is kind of another area. I can't tell if I really like or hate this about this game. And I can't tell if it was just an underbaked premise. But I wouldn't say this game follows traditional tank damage healer classes.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like it wants to get them set up there, but if you're looking at it, you're like, this doesn't really make sense. There are clearly a small handful of characters that are really tanky, but also do a ton of damage. And there aren't really any straight healers. There's essentially one, and that's Vidassi. I think is the only one that is like just a traditional healer. Everyone else, like I really like Uncle Sven, but
Yep,
he's
I
only
remember
got
a lot of Uncle Sven.
he can only really heal you with one thing, and it's very limited. It is not a lot of health. So it's really kind of hard to look at this and say, like, oh, yeah, there are clearly these. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, or if it was really underbaked, but it does allow there, I guess, to be some flexibility. Like you said, you can kind of build out your character as you're playing to be a little bit of this or a little bit of that. But again, it's not very obvious. Like, obviously, the Margrave is 100% a tank. Like,
Yeah.
he can do a ton of damage, though. And I'd say Lord Gnosis is also another one that's very tanky.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, it doesn't necessarily follow that same formula. So even when you're kind of getting into a match, it kind of doesn't matter who's picking who. I feel like you can kind of win no matter what. That there wasn't this is the must team comp. I feel like in most cases, when you needed healing, there really aren't any traditional healers. You're grabbing health packs. That's what you're doing. Or you're running back to a tree to heal you. And I can't tell if that's a good or a bad thing with this game.
I'd call it good because and really only because it just keeps it a little bit unique. Like there's enough other unique elements to the gameplay overall that having some healing, but everyone's really got the same motive, which is attack. And like your best healing is either a health pack, like you said, or even just getting kills. So if you've got someone who's strong and you're a good fighter, when you're getting kills, you're getting these health pack drops that go with it every single time. And so there's like incentive to just fight. And I like that about it. It helps keep the gameplay going quick too.
See, I would say I think it's more bad because looking at this roster, there's a 25 character roster. I feel like I see the same characters every time. I don't think I've ever seen Roland. I don't think I've ever seen Kajir.
Those are the new ones.
I don't think I've ever seen Ezreal.
I've done an Ezreal
Rutger every once in a while. I've seen an Oru like once or twice. I've maybe seen an Amani once.
You'll see a lot of Trips. You'll see a lot of Beckett's.
Exactly. Yeah, you see a lot of the same. I see
a lot of the Margrave, a lot of Uncle Sven's.
Yeah.
HK and T-Mat, and then Mozu. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's generally my argument is like why I think it might be bad. And it's not even so much that these characters are bad. I think it's just some people just kind of gravitate to something and just.
I don't think they were balanced.
Yeah.
I just don't think the game ever got to the point of balancing this. That's where I was like, that's where I don't know if this was intentionally built this way or if it just never got to its full state where these guys were more clearly defined in categories. I'm not really sure. I lean towards I think this was on purpose. I think the purpose was each character you'd build out in the game to be a little bit more one or the other. And you'll even notice like there's pre-built paths and most of them are damage or tank. It looks like it gave you one. Do you want to just be beefier or do you want to do a lot more damage? So again, I think it was all intentional. I think that's how they wanted to build it. But it makes it tough when you're trying to pick a character because it's like, what's going to help? Well, I don't know. It's
the
not.
Thing is you can switch your character mid-game.
Which you couldn't before, right?
All right. That was another question that I had. I
didn't recall
I don't remember you being able to switch.
Yeah, like that was
controversial back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for MOBA.
Well, yeah.
Not for a MOBA, if anything. That's really traditional.
Overwatch didn't allow it back then.
Because Overwatch isn't a MOBA. But League of Legends, Smite, Dota, those are all, you pick your character, and that's your character. You don't switch.
Yeah,
So
I'm just saying in that time, that's how it was for everything. It was that way for hero shooters, and it was that way for MOBAs, was you pick a character and you stick with it. I think it makes sense that it allows you to switch, but
can you switch in
I
Clash
like that.
too?
Yeah.
So what happens then? Like if you've leveled up to like level 5,
Actually,
do you just get
that's
all
actually
5
a good
points?
question. I actually don't know. I actually don't know if you can do that Clash.
Like I would have games where I would switch, but largely I would pick a character and stick to it.
That's what I would do. If I was getting my butt kicked, I don't think there was any point where I was like, oh, I just need to switch to this character. Because that's another part of this too, is there doesn't seem to be obvious counters to things. Like I can play a game like Marvel Rivals, or I can play a game like Overwatch, and I can generally understand where the developers were creating characters that were supposed to be counters to others. Like they were clearly building this character. Like let's take Ana as an example in Overwatch. She has one ability that makes her relatively overpowered, and that's her grenade that prevents you from being healed. And it's clearly a utility that was supposed to specifically counter healers, is what that was supposed to counter. So it was supposed to be very much used for tanks, for you to chunk down a tank, and they can't get any heals. You could understand that that's why that character was designed, and that was where their kit was supposed to be used. In this game, in Gigantic, I don't think those things exist. I think you kind of just pick who you're having fun with.
Yeah.
And you enjoy, and you just use them no matter what.
Yeah, I think I feel like I ran into one, and it was when I was playing with HK, and I kept going up against a Trip, and they were pretty good too. Which
yeah,
helped,
but Trips can kill anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair, but yeah, it was because they do more damage from behind, like on backstab damage, and HK is just so slow to turn, and he's so big. So it's just, he would just dip up behind me or pop up behind me, and next thing I know, I'm like trying to turn and I just can't keep up. Like most characters, like a Lord Gnosis or whatever, you can turn and fight with him, but you just can't with Trip. And so there's like a couple counters, but I think that they're unintentional counters, to agree with you. Like you can see where games build these in, and this was just like, well, that just works out well because Trip is already really good, and then just that character in particular is really weak against him.
Yeah, no, it almost feels like they had just designs for characters. So they liked that this is what the character structure would be, but they weren't necessarily thinking about how that affects others. And I could be wrong. And I attribute most of this to the fact that this game just never really got to a place of being settled. But yeah, if you're looking at the top 15 players in this game right now, that's a pretty varied list right there.
See, I
that's
think
everyone on Steam right now.
You're seeing a lot of the same heroes in the top.
If you go check Overwatch right now, almost every one of them top 15, one of their most played players was a Tracer. Like, she was almost in every single person's list. This one seems relatively varied. You said there's 25 characters? I think I'm seeing just about... you don't see the Margrave. Oh, no, I see the Margrave, number 7.
Yep.
So I even see him there.
Roland. You don't see the other new character, Kajir. He's not on this list.
Yeah.
You don't see a Lord Sven.
Okay.
You don't.
No, I see one. I see Uncle Sven at number 5.
Oh, yeah.
He's there.
You don't see the fire guy.
You said Ezrin Gall. Ezrin Gall's number 1 up there.
Ezrin Gall's number 1.
All 3 of those are kind of
down at number 15.
This is a varied list. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would say so. Because even then, like, even if yes, there's a few that you don't have here out of 25, out of Overwatch, and they're what, 40 plus at this point, you could pick out 25 that won't show up in the top 50 probably. Maybe that's aggressive, but you get my point.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, we should probably keep moving along here. So overall, yeah, this is what just makes me sad, because this gameplay, I think it's a ton of fun. It's also a lot of fun when you have some friends, because this is a game that's a lot of fun to coordinate with people and actually work as a team, because, you can get swamped pretty quickly if you're just going by yourself, lone wolfing it. This is not Call of Duty. You need to be working as a team. Even though, every character has simple things to kind of interact with teammates, it's very just important that you just play with your teammates. Which I will say, the ping system is great. It's literally the Y button if you're playing on controller. So it's very easy to kind of ping and coordinate with some people. But let's get into, I guess, the graphics of this game. I loved this game's art style. It's very cartoonish.
Kind of cell
Very
shaded.
bright. It's, nice cell shaded. I love this game's graphics. I thought every character was, like I said, it's impressive that this game doesn't have this lore or anything like that, because your character roster's all over the place. You got some characters that kind of look like, aliens. Some characters look like animals. Some characters are robots. And I gotta say, the character designs are very unique. So when you're playing, it's pretty easy to recognize somebody like, oh, he's playing as this character. I will say that when it comes to graphics, though, the thing that I think is kind of disappointing, since there is no microtransactions, there is a store, you're earning regular in-game currency, you can buy any skin in the store. I find the skins wildly underwhelming. I've been going through a handful of characters. I'm like, I'm really liking Uncle Sven. What does he have? He has one where he kind of looks like he's from, like Saudi Arabia, and it's like, okay, like a merchant from.
Yeah, but there's 5 different colors of it.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. That is my issue. It's a lot of just color variations. And I'm like, and this is why also I give this game a pass, because even after all this time, when you look at their news on their website, it's just new skins for this character, new skins for this character, new skins for this character. And it's one design, multiple color variations. And it's just like, how's this game been out this long, repackaged, and you just haven't done really cool, fun skins that make me want to grind for it?
It's the lack of progression system. And truthfully, I didn't think this was going to be a game that was going to be updated a whole lot. My initial impression of this game was they were going to charge $30. They were going to launch this game as a complete package. That's how I interpreted this game. So they added 2 new characters. They got rid of the paid shop, and that was it. So I didn't read this as, oh, they're gonna treat it like a live service game. So I'm not really surprised by all of that. Yeah, the skins kind of suck, but that's my overall issue with just the progression. There's nothing really to kind of work for, because even the cool skins are not that cool.
I want to give a little pushback. You keep saying there's no progression. The one thing that I like about this game, League of Legends has started to do it, but this game gives you a ranking of how well you are playing your character within the game. And that is cool. So you do level up each character and you level up your profile. When we first played this, it gave you, you got a B. And you're like, why the heck did I get a B? Now they actually have a breakdown. You got a B because you ranked higher in kills, but you did worse in deaths and worse in assists. Like, it gives you a breakdown as to why you got a B.
Yeah, but
I like that system.
I would push against that, though. Here's the problem with that system. It is ranking you in a bunch of categories. Why? Oh, because I
was like, what is happening right
I did a hand motion. And all right. So for anyone that's not seeing this right now, the camera zoomed in so hard on my face because I did a hand gesture.
I thought Andrew was just like zooming in on you somehow because you were getting intense with your...
No, this is the problem with AI. Okay, we put it in our cameras. Next thing you know, it zooms in your nostrils. So here's my issue with the ranking system. The ranking system on paper is kind of interesting, right? So let's say there's 15 categories in the game: kills, damage, healing, whatever. The problem with that, though, is let's say I'm playing Vidassi, who's a really healer. She's labeled as a healer. That's what she does. She really doesn't do a lot of damage. You cannot get a lot of kills with Vidassi. She just doesn't do it. I am always going to get a D grade because in that game, the only category I did good with on her is maybe summons. Maybe I was good with summons, but it's healing. I can't get damage. I can't do. So it doesn't matter. I could be the greatest Vidassi player in the world. I can't get a B. I can't get an A because in that match, it's comparing you in the match. It's looking at everybody in the match and it's saying, comparatively speaking, you did the worst in these categories. That's going to work against you. It's a cool system.
Ranking to other Vidassi players on the server.
If you look at it, it says within the match.
Oh.
It says within the match. I would like that. To me, that makes sense. But because, like, if there were traditional setups, like if it was like, hey, against all of the tanks in this match, this is what she looked like. Against all of the damage dealers, this is what it looks like. Because to me, that's a little more apples to apples comparison. The problem is I was not going to get that if I was playing as certain characters. That's the only reason that, like, okay. And even then, Andrew, That's not a progression system. That's just a ranking on how you did in the match. So that's still not a game within the game. So you're double wrong. So you can go sit down on that one for a while. Burn.
But audio's good.
It's fine.
I know we complained with Marvel Rivals that there's way too much talking. In this, I feel like it's just fine. You are hearing a lot of dialogue kind of going back and forth. Nothing's egregious though, which is great. It's very audible too. The audio is very good of, hey, your god is going to be attacking the other god. There's a lot of visual cues. Pay attention. You're about to attack the enemy base. Audio's going off, and I like it. The audio, there was nothing in this game that was like, I'm so sick of hearing this character's audio.
Isn't it just an announcer? It's not even voice act. Like the characters aren't really speaking.
Yeah, your god is the announcer, and he will say things.
Yeah, like
but the characters are saying things too. Though.
Are they? I didn't even notice.
Some can be a little annoying.
But I think that's a good point. Like, it's not, I'm flarking hurting over here every 3 seconds. So it is nice that I kind of didn't even notice that the voice acting was there outside of the announcing.
Yeah. And then as far as the achievements go, it's not for achievement hunters. The achievements are pretty good though. But it is a lot of just progression. In fact, one of them is to get you like your profile to level 100, which I saw, I think only, oh no. The one I thought was kind of crazy. It's getting your profile up to level 20. Once you hit 20, you can do rank play. Only 6% of people have hit that so far. I thought that's kind of crazy. There was a 6%.
I'm like a 22 or a 23, which is kind of wild.
That's like the thing you go for in any of these games. And to think that only 6% of people have even gotten to that point is pretty crazy.
What's crazy about that too is this was a $30 game until last week when it went on Game Pass. So that means people paid for it and still didn't get to 20.
Dang. That's because, when we first got it, there legitimately was horrible server issues.
I don't remember that.
Match and it would kick you out.
I do not recall that. I do not remember being that broken. Like I remember playing it pretty steadily.
Look at the paper trail on Twitter.
This is a random gripe, but you had pointed this out last night, Andrew. If it's having such a hard time filling these spots, then why, when someone leaves, do you put a bot in there? You have the capability of giving me a bot. If someone doesn't accept, just put a bot in the game. Then problem solved.
Especially if it's not ranked.
Especially if it's not ranked. Like if it's ranked, fine, because I'm guessing it doesn't do a bot in ranked. But
I agree. These are fixable issues this game should have handled.
It is. And that's what I'm hoping for. Like I said, at the moment, I'm giving it a pass. It could get fixed, but I overall landed on a pass because the fact that the game has been out since April and this stuff still is not fixed makes me not so hopeful for it. But let's get into our final thoughts here because, we've been going on for a while. All right. So as I said, for me, gigantic. I think this game is a ton of fun. I wish this game would get fixed. I think the gameplay is a lot of fun. It's a nice change of pace. It's very unique of a MOBA, instead of all these other free-to-play hero shooters. It's a nice change of pace of what's going on. I like that you have a lot of customizations with your character build as to what you're doing, what character you like, and you actually have some variety for them. It's not just, I'm the healer, I'm going to heal. Heck, no, you could be that healer and actually do more damage or debuffs or stuff with him. I like that they have the skill tree. The skin shop is a little lackluster. Game modes are both the same thing, just slight variations. But overall, this is a fun game. If you can just get into matches is the issue. I'm hoping, which is also weird, that they did not fix this stuff before they hit Game Pass. You think they'd be like, hey, we're going to go on Game Pass. We're about to get a whole influx of people. We need to make sure our stuff's in order. Because that's usually the thing of why some people like to go on Game Pass, some game developers, because they may have some microtransactions or DLC or something to have people go, this game's fun. I want to buy it. So if it leaves Game Pass, I don't lose it. I want to keep playing it. But it's just weird that this game is still kind of in a rough state and it hit Game Pass. So that's why I'd give it a pass. But overall, I think it's a very fun game. And I'd give it an 80.
Yeah, since I gave this one a game, I'm probably the most high on it. Maybe because of nostalgia. Yeah, if you were coming into this brand new, I don't know how much you're going to love it. Because there just is better versions of this game right now. This still is unique. It still has unique elements, so you might find something there that you're like, actually, I don't know. I kind of like this change of pace a little bit more. I'm not just trying to move a cart or trying to fight over one spot. So, maybe you see something in this, but it's still got rough edges. It still feels like a game that just wasn't complete because it wasn't. It wasn't complete when it launched. It had its own little dedicated community, and I think it still does. I think a dedicated community is still there. Clearly not on Steam, since it's only 11 people currently playing it on Steam. But it still has its dedicated audience. Do I think this thing survives because of Game Pass? No. I think the developers, again, have kind of created it as a completed package, and it wasn't really meant to be a live service anymore. Would I be excited to see a Gigantic 2 someday? Of course I would. But if you can get into a game, I still think there's something there. I just wonder how it's going to resonate with a brand new audience. Still a game when it works. It does have a litany of issues, though. I'm going to give it... I don't know if I can give it an 80 just because of those, just getting into lobbies and the lack of progression. So for that, I'm going to give it a 78.
It's interesting. Andrew gave it a pass.
But gave it a higher score?
Yeah. And this is the
I don't
first
think
time
you can
this
give a
has happened on
pass
Game
an
Pass.
80.
I think I've
You
done
can.
it.
It's a good game, but it's just not really playable.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is like I largely agree with everything that Aaron says. I mean, that's basically what I've been saying along with him the whole time. Is like I really enjoy my time playing the game. I just enjoy being able to actually play it, and that severely lacks right now.
It's a controversial take.
Right?
I like when I can play my games.
Exactly. So it's like the game itself is a game for me. The package of Gigantic sitting on Game Pass right now is a pass because it's just, I don't know, just go play a game. You can get into a match. You can go play 5 rounds of Marvel Rivals before you can probably play 2 of Gigantic. And not just the thing, you know, Andrew and I running into it where we just could no longer be in a party together. Like it just weird, broken little things about it. It's just such a shame that there's potential for it. I don't even care if you want to make it a live service. I don't care if you want to add all the skins. Like all of the things that it's quote unquote lacking are none of the things I long for in a game or am sad to see go. Those are good titles in the chat, just to be clear, I guess, because I got sidetracked. But the overall package is good is what the gameplay is. So I'm gonna stick with my game when you can play it. And I'm going to take Andrew's score and call it an 80. So at least there's one game at 80.
So I was the most high on the game. Gave it a pass, gave it a lower score.
I don't think you were the most high on it. I feel like I was right alongside you. I don't like, other than I didn't pay $30 to buy it when it came out. Like that's the only thing that I would say I wasn't as big on this game as you were. But
I'm
other
also
than that, like
level 22.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, you're the highest level. But as far as, you know, how we've talked about the game, I'm right alongside you. And so I feel like I should give it an 81 just to have the game be that. But anyways, yeah, an 80.
If there is something we take away from this entire episode, though, it's that bring back loot boxes.
Snarky's coming. Oh, good. Nope, I agree with that. I was expecting a smart comment there.
I mean,
but I agree with you.
That's just facts.
That was an actual smart comment.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for the people who come to us on our live stream. You know, talked in our chat, our live chat here. Thank you so much, Javier. Come join us on our Discord, YouTube. You know, as Aaron said, we're streaming more on our YouTube. You know, some of the games that we're playing this week, some episodes that we'll probably be talking about. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me in Xbox Live at Firebird0952. Make sure you go to our linktree/GBGB. Or GamePassGrabOut.com. You'll find links to all our stuff. Join us on our X, on our Discord. I would love, you know, some people in our Discord are bringing up that, you know, we would love to do a game night sometime. But, you know, everyone's kind of all over the place. So it'd be easier if more people come to our Discord. We could hopefully get some, you know, more people playing together. I'd love, if you're playing Phasmophobia, I'm always looking for people to play that. I've been having a ton of fun with that game. But yeah, come join us. Say hi. We love having you all.
Okay. I'm Aaron. See ya.
You can find Aaron on Game Pass Grab Bag, YouTube streaming. If you're still doing your other YouTube thing, that too. But anyhow.
I am.
I've been Keith. I, for the first half of the episode, thought that your shirt said Beefeater, Aaron. And then I noticed that there was only one E. And then I thought it was Beefeater. And then I realized it was Beefeater. I was very, very curious what
I like that you were just struggling with this all episode as you're looking at this, like, Beefeater. Why does he have a shirt that says Beefeater?
Well, it's a liquor, isn't it?
Does that say Beefeater?
So then there's that. I also realized I don't have the names up here, but I missed some people who had messaged me on Xbox like years ago. So if you're still listening, hey, got your message finally. And
You're not even gonna call him out by name?
yeah, maybe I'll save that for next week.
And that's
'Cause
messed up.
I don't have him up here. It adds a little bit of excitement for my next outro.
That's how you get returning listeners, Aaron.
Exactly. They're gonna be like, "Was I the one? Was it me?" But they're probably gone. I don't know.
Because you didn't respond.
Yeah, they were like, "God, I reached out to this famous podcaster and he didn't respond to me. How dare he?" I don't think I have anything else.
So see you again next week.
Bye.
See ya.